Hello, everybody, and welcome to Boss Talks. This is episode 57. We have Tara Samuels on the show today, and some of you probably know her. I mean, she's been around a little while. She's been over 20 years in the industry, multifamily specifically. Currently, she is the senior manager of business development for ADT Multifamily, and she has this little side project. It's a little guy doing mentor matchmaker, but also that is a stem off of something that she's been doing for a lot of years called AMP. And I can't even remember what it stands for, but we'll get there. Either way, it's all about networking, bringing people together in the industry, and she's really good at it. And she'll, for one, tell you that it takes a lot of work. It's right in her name. So link up with her on LinkedIn and other platforms. Ask her about all the things she's doing, but we're going to get into it with her shortly. Right now, I just want to give you a little bit of an intro. I'm Evan Happel. I'm with Community Boss. I'm the director of marketing with them. I'm your host today and always. And we have a great solution, multifamily, for prop tech, managing your physical spaces. You got your parking, your amenities, and mapping. We can generate revenue, just make it a better experience for your residents and your managers. So ask me about that, and I'd love to get into it. But for now, we're bringing Tara to the show. Tara. Did I just do that?
You totally did it. Oh my God. All right, do I take two? Oh, if they only knew the context.
At least I caught myself.
You know what? Bravo. Bravo.
All right,
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna edit that out. And now I'm bringing Tara to the show.
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really happy to have you here. For everybody that doesn't know, well, if you don't know her, you should know her. She is all about bringing people together, bringing people to get to know one another, mentor one another, elevate yourself, and she's been doing that for years. Yeah, there's a business, networking benefits you in a business sense, but it's a lot of work. So if she didn't also just love it, there really is no point.
Because it's my middle name, as you said.
Exactly.
Because it takes takes work.
It does indeed. And you yourself have been doing AMP. Now, can you explain what that stands for again, your acronym? Because I forget.
So we're rebranding. So AMP is still applicable. However, so it's Amplified Connections, but it used to be Apartment Management Professionals, which stands for AMP. But we are going with Amplified Connections, which I should have thought of in the first place, because that's really what it's about, is amplifying your connections. So that is the new name. But what's cool is ampyournetwork.com is still applicable, even though we're rebranding. So yeah, it's actually, we hit our 10-year anniversary. It'll be this December that I formed the group.
Nice. What? And I know back in the quote unquote day pre-COVID, while you lived in Chicago, because you got a story. Mm-hmm. I mean, you lived in Chicago for most of your life. You got married, long distance relationship, married for 5 years?
Almost. Yeah, just shy of 5 years.
Which I'm saying that's impressive.
It's actually insane. I mean, it's impressive, thank you, but it's super insane.
All right. That's probably a better way.
I went there. I opened it for you. You're like, I actually really think it's insane. I just didn't know how to tell you.
All right. But I mean, and then you were doing your job, you're doing AMP, you were working with Trash Butler, I guess one of the ways that you guys stay connected at the time, you both worked for the same company. So that's a good way to at least.
Yeah. So most people will be like, oh, honey, I'll talk to you later. We'll FaceTime. And I'm like, I have seen you all day long on Teams calls. So we'll actually just talk on the phone. We don't have to FaceTime. But you're right. Rob and I worked together twice in our career.
Oh, okay.
And where people usually give me the eyebrows is the first time I actually reported to him. And they were like, how did that work? And it's boundaries, right? We're both super serious about our profession. And so if you create the boundaries right out of the gate, then, and you don't veer from them, then you can make it work. But yeah, so you are correct. If I had a normal 9 to 5 where I clocked in, our relationship would have never, it would have never lasted, because we needed the flexibility to travel, and we would see each other at the same conferences, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But we are still insane.
Well, but I'm happy to report that you currently live in the same home.
Finally.
In Atlanta.
We do. Like, it took us, it literally was almost 6 years, because we have a motto, and we have a motto of parents first. The Cliff Notes version is we met at the Indianapolis Apartment Association Midwest Conference in October. It's a 2-day show. And when you're a supplier in the industry and you have 2 days of a show, boy, you really get to know the suppliers around you, right? Because what else do you have to do while everyone's like in session? And the joke is that Rob actually tried to recruit me for a job at the time. And now fast forward, I'm his wife. So I don't think that was quite the job description he had in mind. But
maybe.
You never know. So we got to know one another. And as you know, in this industry, everyone knows everyone. And we had like 500 people in common. And that's what it's about, networking, and just this lovely, small but not small industry we're in.
That's right. The lovely, small but not small industry. That's why networking is important. And that's why you don't be a knucklehead.
I mean, that really should be a bumper sticker that they give out at trade shows, right? I mean,
oh man,
don't be a knucklehead.
Whether you're a supplier, exactly, or on the either side of the business, because I mean, you could go either way, and like you did, I mean, you started way back on property management side of things, right?
I did. The very first apartment I ever rented ended up being the first community I ever worked for. And it was just simply, I still am fascinated by showing apartments, leasing, touring. It's one of the most fun times of my life, was being a leasing agent. And that is where I really felt that I had a knack for connecting with others, because I didn't care about the commission. Of course, everyone wants to get paid. But I was like, I knew that leasing was finding someone their new home. And if you dive in to understand that everyone who walks in that leasing office is going through a life change, good, bad, or indifferent, and if you can basically like just relate to that person and sympathize, empathize, whatever the situation is, you're going to lease apartments naturally. And I just felt like I had a gift for gab, as my grandmother always told me. And I was like, well, I'm going to use that. I would find myself every weekend going down to the leasing office. Before there was no online ordering of packages. So I would come up with things like, oh, let me see what coffee and cookies they have today. And Tom Orshell, I think he's still in the industry. If he's still there, he's in Palatine, Illinois. Tom finally said to me, Tara, oh my God, like, do you want a job here? Because you're down here all the time. You want to get paid for it? And I was like, can I? And then that was it. The rest was history. And I fell in love with the industry.
But then you couldn't eat all the cookies. And...
it was such a real thing. But I would be like, can I go in the model and just tour the model? And he's like, we don't have anybody here. I don't care. I just want to go in the model. And that's actually where my love for interior design came in too, was it like my whole life changed in that moment at 18 years old with my very first apartment.
Oh, and if that wasn't busy enough, you have another side hustle of interior design. That's right.
Yeah. Well, so home staging, I never went to school for any of this. Basically, the joke was, years ago as a property manager, my owners took my budget away and said, you can't have models anymore. Figure it out. Get creative. And I was like, wow, okay. And so I just started using little things to create a homey environment in a vacant unit. And then as things progressed, I realized like, hey, I might actually have a thing for this. And I decided to launch my own business. And then I became the only staging company for a real estate auction company that's still in Chicago. And so, yeah, I launched it in 2009, and it's named after our kids. And so Holken Park Staging, Holden, Kendall, Parker. So we just kind of smashed their names together, and Holken Park Staging is, yeah, check it out. I haven't been able to do a project in a while because I clearly have 90 other things going on in my life. But yeah, I know, right? Like, it's like, do you sit still? No. So, and plus we're parents, and, we were just talking, kids are back to school. You got to be a parent and have a functioning 9 to 5.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
All right. Well, thank you. I mean, I'm so happy to have you here. Thankful for all that you're doing for the industry and allowed me to be a part of as well.
Absolutely.
It was great to finally meet you in Atlanta when you popped by my little breakfast as well. Got
that
your
was so
tumbler
good.
and
Manage like a boss.
bling.
I've got my tumbler. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I don't have the bling. I posed with the bling, but I will wear it proudly.
Some. Okay. All right. It's coming your way.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, before we get into any more, let's hit the questions, and then we'll kick it right into gear with the topics at hand that you really are passionate about.
Sounds good.
I always like to start the show with 3 questions. For those that have watched the show, they know what they are. If you don't, well, you're about to. So the first question is, we are Community Boss. And so I always like to know, personally, I'm passionate about building community. What is your way, Tara? Got it right. To build community? I think I know the answer, but go ahead.
Well, my way of building community is empowering others. And I do that by way of mentorship and just connecting others. So the most common thing that I do is when I meet somebody, I never make it about me. I make it about them by saying, how can I help? Who can I introduce you to? And so many people take for granted, they're like, oh, I totally know how to network. No, most people actually don't. They're confused. It's intimidating. Yeah. So if I can just break the ice and allow myself to be helpful and empower others, then that is exactly what I'm passionate about. And the joke has started to become, I actually wasn't sure if LinkedIn would be like, change your middle name. This is ridiculous. This networking takes work. I don't know how much they monitor that stuff. And now my last name, people are annoyed a little bit. Like when they tag me on LinkedIn, there's like 47 things that go with it, with the networking takes work, multifamily mentor matchmaker. But that's my passion. And it's just something, it's true to my heart. And it's something we're trying to teach our kids even, because I think if we wait till we're in the business world, let's start earlier. Let's teach our kids younger how to network, how to be authentic, how to be passionate about serving others. So did that meet your answer? Is that what you were guessing?
I mean, pretty much, like, yeah. And then there's all the layers of the ways you're implementing that. But, I think that's a good, well-rounded way of approaching it, both professionally and personally. And when you're in the industry for a long time, your professional and your personal kind of start colliding. So
they do.
Your friends kind of start being your friends, if you're able to see them in person too. Right. It's always nice to go to conferences and see people that are across the country and stuff like that. But
love it.
But yeah, I think moving to Atlanta, although Chicago has a big market too, you probably got closer to a few people that maybe you hadn't been able to be around.
Yeah, and it's been moving here has pushed me even further out of my comfort zone, because Atlanta was never a market that I was selling to. Mm-hmm. So I knew people by way of my husband because he's always been here. But you're right. Like, I was like, okay, now I have to push and get to know people. How do I do that? You got to put yourself out there. So.
Yep. You struggle at that.
It's believe it or not, I still get intimidated by certain situations, but I'm an ambivert. So I used to be just an extrovert. Yeah. And I remember I was so fond of you because you're like, oh, I'm introverted. And so I decided to start a podcast. I'm like, what? That's amazing to put yourself out there, and look what you've done. And I'm now 57, even though that's not my lucky number, I'll still take it.
Oh, you should have told me. I didn't know.
My lucky number is 13 or 106,
Oh,
both of those. And I didn't really want to wait another year to be on your show. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Second question. Thanks for answering. If you were to have somebody over for dinner, and whether that's cooking for them or buying a very nice meal, what would you provide them? Think hospitality. Think I just want to show care and love to this person.
I make, like, I can cook really well. My husband's the griller, I'm the cooker. But first of all, I'm obsessed with a full-bodied cab.
Okay.
We love red wine.
So you're just drinking.
I'm going to sit them down with all of my favorite foods. I make a mean pasta dish that is actually, it tastes like there's cream in it, but it's not. It's completely plant-based, which is hilarious because I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian by any stretch, but there's no dairy in it. So I would whip up this wicked pasta dish, but we're going to sit down and have a few bottles of this amazing red cab. I'm an Orin Swift lover, like but if depends on who's coming, we might spring for the silver oak or the Camus. But yeah.
Well, you're going all out for this person.
Going all out. So then we're going to the high end stuff.
Okay.
Yep. So I love me, like, fall for me is when I start whipping out the wine. It's hard to drink red wine in the summer.
When
for me,
you and Rob have me over for dinner,
we're going high end
at some point. Perfect.
Oh yeah, we're putting out the red carpet and the red wine for you. Yep, you're welcome.
I mean, if people don't know, I get the red carpet treatment everywhere now.
Of course you do. You're famous.
I'm so famous.
You're so famous. You're a boss. You're hilarious.
Oh goodness. Thank you for answering. And then finally, when it comes to your caffeinated beverage of choice, hopefully it's coffee. But if not, I want to know what it is. What do we got? How are you rolling?
Well, let me teach you how we've cheated the system.
Okay.
So we, meaning my husband and I, we both like coffee. However, we only have 1 cup a day. And it is actually a Starbucks drink that we have mastered better than Starbucks. So it's the iced brown sugar shaken espresso, which is made with oat milk. So we're big oat milk drinkers here. And it used to be, I actually got a chai today to treat myself. But like, depending on my mood, we're going chai or we're going to the espresso. But we decided, why are we spending $8 times 2 every day for the drink? So we bought an espresso machine. And we have found the baristas that will sell us the brown sugar syrup that they're not supposed to sell us. And we find those, give them a little, you know what, under the table, and they sell us the bottles of the syrup, and we make it at home. So every morning, my husband has perfected it, and it's waiting for me every morning when I get up. So that's what I drink.
Nice. I actually like that drink. And part of the reason why I like it, it's both good, and it's a lot less calories than most of those other drinks up there.
Isn't it crazy? You would think it's not, but it's actually decent. So the morning after the red wine that you consume at our house, we will then whip out the homemade brown sugar shaken espresso for you.
Okay. So I'm staying at their house. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, we got a room for you. You can have the East Wing.
Okay.
Happy
wing.
to have you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's actually not big at all. So
the Samuels are
Samuels
living large.
Yeah, but you're welcome anytime. The Happel family can happily come over and hang with the Samuels family.
The Happels are happy, that's for sure. Oh, nice. Well, thank you so much for answering. These are my questions, and I always
love your questions.
So we've gotten to know you a little bit. We've answered all the questions, the important ones, obviously.
Right.
Now we're going to get into your passions, your loves, and we're going to kick it off with one of the more recent things that you've done. How long has it been now that you started the Multifamily Mentor Matchmaking?
January.
January. Okay. So
very recent.
that's taken off pretty good, I would say.
It's
How many we up to, and people that have like signed up and said I'm interested at least?
Including you, which thank you so much for being a part of it, because you were one of my early joiners. I think last count we had 3 new people join yesterday. I think we're at about like 220-ish, and my goal is to have 300 by the end of the year.
That's great.
Starting small, because I have to manage this nights and weekends, and it's super time consuming, but well worth it because it's my passion.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And for anybody that doesn't know, this is something that's open to any and all people, people that are both supplier and property management. And we got people playing well in sandbox together.
We do.
So it's been really nice to do that. And it's something I'm personally like, and I would say you are passionate about the idea of breaking down that barrier of making people feel like, oh, I don't want to talk to a supplier because all they're trying to do is sell me something.
Right.
But I hope people are starting to see, well, really both sides of the coin, as like we're all very much in the same world of multifamily and really trying to achieve the same thing and making the industry better, so that we can learn from each other and, you know, just make it a better, less awkward
because it can be awkward. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, because people take for granted how hard it is to find a mentor. Not everyone is comfortable to just reach out on LinkedIn to someone they admire. Like, you're in a very visible arena of multifamily with your show and how you are. But there might be people from afar who are like, gosh, I really relate to Evan. I think we have a similar vibe, but I don't quite know how to ask him if he could be my mentor. It's a very intimidating process. And so I have been fortunate to have several mentors in and out of multifamily over the years. And I am the type of person who will just ask, but I also know that there's many people, including my daughter, because she is very reserved and not extroverted in any way, but understands the importance of mentorship. And so I was in my head about it for several years, wanted to do this a long time ago, never did, finally just got out of my own way and said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And to be honest with you, the icing on the cake to launch it was Steve Halsey. You know Steve Halsey. He is an industry icon. And when I first put this out on LinkedIn as a possibility of starting, he was the first person to message me on the side and said, I've got your back. I'll support you. What do you need from me? I think you're onto something. And I was like, that's all I need. Okay, I guess that means that this could work.
Yeah.
And it's my role is to help people get matched. You're not assigned somebody right when you join, and you are right. It's open to anybody. In fact, we'd love to have more maintenance professionals. We are kind of slim on that side of the business. We would love more people under 5 years in property management, whether it's supplier or on-site. But we have a really nice balance right now, 50-50 of suppliers and owner-manager side. And it has been the most, other than getting married, finally living with my husband and having children, like this has been the most rewarding time of my entire career, is putting people together, because we're actually changing lives in the process. It's fulfilling and it's amazing to watch this happen. So I help break down the barriers. If people don't need my help, then I'm here to facilitate calls, and we have regular events that happen throughout the month to keep people connected. But it's fascinating, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I've been fortunate to get linked up with a few people. I meet with Justin out of Atlanta.
I love Justin.
And I also meet with Faith out of Florida.
Faith
and
Parker.
You know,
yeah,
people, I had seen their names but never really connected with them. And then your thing, in part, I mean, I think I talked to Justin previously, but this gave an opportunity to like bring us together and get to know each other. So he's mentoring me, I'm mentoring Faith, and yeah, it's been awesome. And then your other things going on with the calls, you know, I can't go to all of them, but I try to make the ones I can. And it's just fun to get to know people. It's to hear from people and just have people share who they are a little bit. Because I think, you know, that's kind of one of my goals with doing Boss Talks is to make more people known and give an opportunity, again, at any level, regardless of title or position, to be known by people and share what their passions are and why they're a boss. So, well, there's Faith. Oh, shucks.
Wait, can I? Oh, I wasn't able to see comments. Oh,
yeah. I'm
is
not
Faith
going to
on
read
here?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Faith.
I can't.
Oh.
Yeah. But thank you, Faith.
I just realized that we can see comments now. Now
yes.
I'll be watching.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Click the comments. Sorry about that.
No, that's awesome. No, you're really true. And I just want to highlight something you said, which is the calls that we have. I had a light bulb moment. And I'm going to plug Mike Brewer here. I just actually had lunch with him today, and we were talking about some of this stuff. And he's someone who also is out there putting himself out there in the marketplace in multifamily. And we were talking a little bit about imposter syndrome and how at first, why did it take me so long to start the group? And it was because I didn't have a roadmap. I had no idea if anyone would say, what does Tara know about mentorship anyway?
Right.
But it wasn't really about me. It was about others. And so a light bulb moment went off a few months ago when I finally said, you know what, when we're doing these meet and greets, why aren't we taking the current members and empowering them to speak about something that they're passionate about? And so, as you've seen with all the invites that I've sent out over the last however many months, people are so passionate about things that they have so much to teach the group. And that's what mentorship's about. So even if you join the group and you don't want to be paired with anybody right away, or if you don't want to mentor someone right away, you could use this as a learning opportunity and truly take away something new every month. Just the other day, we had Vanessa Grayson, who talked about authenticity, and it was one of our favorite calls. We've had a bazillion different speakers, and all I'm doing is allowing people who are currently part of the group to empower themselves and speak up about something they're passionate about. That's mentorship. So you don't have to necessarily be paired with somebody to get something out of this group.
Absolutely. And what's been really cool is it's been a really cool give and take. Like, I've pushed a lot of people towards you and encouraged them to join Mentor Matchmaker. And then I've also reached out to people that are in the group to be on Boss Talks. So it's been really cool to just have more of the, I guess, ecosystem of multifamily colliding. So,
and I appreciate that, because that's how we're growing organically, as people like you who just see the value and just tell other people.
Yeah. And as much as I love Faith saying that about myself, I'm not one to like speak about myself as doing something amazing. I just like helping people, honestly. And I really, this show is funny to me from my standpoint, because I'm not somebody that's like wanting the spotlight.
But yet you're in it.
I'm definitely in it every week on Wednesday, 12 Pacific Standard Time, just if you don't remember. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing. And it's just the way it is these days. Like, in order to have an impact, using technology is a great way to do it. And, even with the Mentor Matchmaker, using things like Slack, using things like Zoom or whatever platform to be able to make it more accessible to a broader group. So,
and can I just tell you that now that I've turned on the comments, like, it warms my heart to see everyone that's chatting is in the group. Ariel, Danja, Lori, oh my God. Like, again, so many amazing stories have come out of this group because of these people. Like, everyone is just awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them, so I've met with just about everybody. Or met at least at NAA. So yeah, it's been really fun to have these things like bring the industry more alive, and not just like feeling like, all right, I'm this guy selling something over here. And it's been really nice.
Oh my God, look at David Lorenzen. Love him too. So he stepped up and said, I want to teach about teaching people, because he's in recruiting, how to make good first impressions. So he took the time to teach our group. This is what I'm talking about. We have people like this who give back. So if you're looking to volunteer your time, this is another way, honestly, to truly give back to someone else by way of mentorship or just being involved. And Danja said, she hasn't been paired with anyone, but she's still getting something out of the group. So, I mean, I could talk for hours and hours about this, but I'll stop now. It's your show.
No, it's your show. That's Boss Talks. Boss Talks isn't about me. It's about you. You're the boss today.
Look how you put that in.
So I really do just want to say thank you. And I know everybody on the call right now is already saying thank you for starting it. Especially since the barriers are zero. It's just, you want to join, then join. So
everyone's welcome. No judgment.
Yep.
Judgment-free zone, whoever that fitness company is. So, Planet Fitness.
There you go. Exactly. All right. Well, your next thing now, I didn't know this, but so in your current role, new 90 days in,
90
today?
days. Yes. What did I say? Wednesday? Monday. Okay. I got an email.
Brand new to your new role with ADT Multifamily, smart homes.
Yes.
In the tech space, previously slinging trash.
Little trash talk. Now we go to the smart talk.
Yeah. But 90 days in, and you immediately had to start recruiting. You had to build a team, because I guess there wasn't much of a team for that particular department, or what's the skinny on that?
Yeah, so let me give you the backstory. ADT Multifamily has done so well with their national sales team. We have some phenomenal people in place who have been here several years. And it's funny, I get most people who I meet, they're like, I didn't even know ADT did anything more than security. I have your security system at our house. And they're like, what is this multifamily? We've been in the multifamily space for longer than most people have realized. We're at all the shows. But we specialize in smart home technology. So you think of your smart lights, thermostats, leak detection, and smart locks. And
you guys purchased a company to make you even better at that, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of things going on in the background that will only keep elevating the experience that we offer. You are correct.
Yeah.
But I will say, so most people know Marshall Friday. Marshall Friday is like a fixture on LinkedIn. He's amazing. He's the reason I joined this company. Well, one of the many reasons. And he had said, hey, our national sales team is doing so well, but we need a business development team. We're going to invest some money, and we'd like to start with a leader first. We have to find our person. So obviously I was chosen for the role, very thankfully. And then they said, great, now go find your team. Cool. I was like, it feels like a startup within a brand who, by the way, we just celebrated 149 years. So we're a trusted brand who's out there. So one of the attractions for me was I get to be part of a company that I know is not going anywhere. It's a trusted name. I'll get paid next week regardless. They're not going to fold. So I feel good about recruiting people in. But I wanted to shake up the recruiting strategies a little bit. And Marshall is kind enough to just be like, you know what, Tara, whatever you need to do to find people, find people. And so I'm joking, but not joking, that I've recruited basically my whole life. If you're a property manager, you're recruiting. If you're a maintenance technician, you're recruiting. I was actually in staffing for the apartment world for many years. I was recruiting. But if you're a good recruiter, you're recruiting at the grocery store, at Starbucks, in your Uber. When you recognize good talent, bring them into the industry. Please, no matter what your title is, we need more people in multifamily. And so my coloring outside of the lines recruiting strategy is I took a business development manager job description, and I was like, you know what? let's turn it into stuff about ice cream, because why wouldn't I do that? Like, and I had a little fun with it. And the beautiful thing about ADT is they are very supportive, and they were like, you know what? Clearly you have a vision. Run with that vision, as long as I keep it, clean and all the things. But what I'm looking for, if you're in sales, you have to be creative. If you're trying to find a job, if you're literally out on the market right now and you're trying to find a job, what are you doing differently besides just responding to the job description or applying online? What are you doing differently to set yourself apart from the competition? And so I needed to find some creative minds out there who weren't afraid to take a risk. And so if you followed along with my posts, every single person I hired, part of their onboarding is we had to go take the ice cream picture, but they had to bring to the table some creativity on their cover letter, how they thought they were going to bring their creativity to the role. And everyone is now an ice cream enthusiast / business development manager selling smart home solutions. So as much as you want to talk about this, I can share that there's just, you have to break through the noise and not be so traditional in how you respond to either a job or how you recruit.
Yeah. No, I mean, by doing it, you had people interacting with your recruiting process, which only expanded the reach of people knowing that you were recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to know, how did the people you ended up hiring find out about it, and what was their response to it?
So can I just tell you, here's the power of networking. 3 of the 4 folks that joined the team came from my network and or the mentor group. So first of all, like, let's just underscore the power of how that even happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The 4th person came from our recruiting department, but they embraced it. Like, they completely just jumped in and was like, you know what, I can actually appreciate a little bit of the creativity and the difference in, like, pushing me out of my comfort zone. I knew that if they weren't able to do that, then they're probably not going to be someone who can cold call all day long and cut through the noise and have fun with it. Like, I know this is shocking to you, but I like to have fun at work.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I know. Newsflash.
Right.
They embraced it 100%, and they had a smile on their face while doing it. And I think one of the favorite things that happened, I actually had a few people email me, and they're like, hey, Tara, I actually love my job, but I loved your post and I loved what you were looking for. I wanted to, like, test my creative boundaries. So I'm applying for it without applying for it. And they literally would just send me, like, a creative cover letter that has to do with ice cream. And one of the requirements to see if they follow directions is in a cover. Oh, that's my dog Tigger. One of the requirements on the subject line is for them to tell me their favorite ice cream. So, it breaks the ice, right? Sure. Like, let's get to know people beyond just what they do for a living or what's on their resume. Let's get creative. And so I was just thankful that ADT embraced my creative side, and they said, run with it. So the whole team is new. This is a whole new division for ADT Multifamily, but you're going to see us in full force at all the shows. We're everywhere.
So when it comes to this particular branch is about developing, I guess, leads, or what exactly is different about it compared to your, I guess, more traditional salespeople that you've had?
Yeah, so the national sales, the national account managers that we already have in place that are tenured and doing a great job, they have a lot on their plate. So if you think, I don't know why I love to do this, everything's around food for me, food and wine. You take their job and you put it into a pie chart and you cut it in 4. The business development team is basically taking a 1/4 of their role away from them to help them be able to nurture their current relationships more, because we're taking a piece of their job, and that is lead generation. So we're out there new logo hunting, and then finding out who our current customers are, and then try to deepen those relationships as best we can. Visit the communities that are smart, that want to get smarter, finding out, what solutions they're looking for. So we're creating the leads and then setting up the discovery calls. And then once the discovery call is ready to happen, they pass the baton to the national account person, who then kind of finishes the sale. So it used to be, it was a full sales cycle where they had to hunt, lead generation, do all the things, and then nurture throughout the end of the sale. Now we kind of help with that first piece of the puzzle. And it's working quite well. And this is like a marriage, right? Like everyone has to get along. So communication is number one to making these successful. So each business development manager supports about 3 national account managers, and they work together as a team, and they go find how to make apartments smarter. That's their mission.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, because those sales reps can't go out in the field necessarily and cultivate. You got the cultivators, the people that are kind of tending to the soil, planting seeds, and then
planting seeds, totally.
And then you got the people that are, taking out the thresher or whatever and cutting down the crop and all the things.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Irving. Oh, and see, Danja is talking about Kristen Ellis. Kristen Ellis has been with ADT forever. She's amazing. And she's kind of like Mrs. Doubtfire, where she could do 47 different voices.
Oh,
she's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, we're all over the country. So it's so funny that, and Michelle, look, the entire mentor group is on this call, I feel like. Well, they're all big fans of you.
Minus like 100. Yeah, they're here for me. Yeah. They're here for me. That's who they're here for. Yep.
I love it. Again, we can talk all day, but I would just encourage everyone. How I did some different things to get the job that I have here. To just push your creative limits, cut through the noise, do something different. Video emails, LinkedIn voice messages, send boxes to the management company that you're trying to get in with, or the company you're trying to. Make a swag box, wear their apparel, like just put yourself in the role without even having the role yet, so that you can have the confidence to show that company why you should be chosen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be a boss, right?
Be a boss. That's right. Be a boss. That's right. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing about that and helping people think about how they could be creative in the recruitment process. And because, if you want to have fun at work and enjoy your time, like was there anything like people that you didn't choose, but maybe how they responded, the way they wrote their letter was still pretty creative and kind of fun? Was there anything that stood out?
The unfortunate thing is a lot of folks didn't necessarily listen. And so, while they may have been creative, they missed maybe a few pieces of the ask that I was looking for. And so that helped me understand their attention to detail. So,
did anybody not understand?
No.
Okay.
No. But what's interesting is there were a couple folks who said, hey, I saw your post about the ice cream on LinkedIn, and then gave me nothing else, just attached their resume. And I was like, did you read the post? What's your favorite ice cream? Where's your creativity? There was nothing. So I was like, that's not selling yourself, or you're not actually reading the job description. So I don't want people to be hurried and miss the detail, right? That's important.
Right.
So, it helped me weed people out a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Because if you aren't actually reading the full job description and all the things, like, you don't even know what you're signing up for.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, another boss. Like, look at the boss, Suzanne Hobson. Like, love her. She's in the mentor group. She's a boss. Like, every single person on this chat is amazing.
Yeah.
Can we just get the entire mentor group?
I do like that tagline, cut through the noise and be a boss. Yeah.
You can have it. Yeah, Suzanne, that was actually really creative. Very creative, see? I love it. Yeah, and I'm happy to be a resource for anyone who is just looking for ideas, but or take a play out of Vanessa's playbook, which is just be authentically you. If you're authentically you, please don't be. Do you know how many times I would interview people, not just for this role, but like in my 20 years in multifamily, who would show up to the interview and then show up to the role 100% a different person? Please don't do
Oh
that.
wow.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. Why? Like you can't keep up the facade or the fake whatever you just tried to portray for
No.
very long. And if the best you could do is be that way at the interview and then the first day be different, that's
Yeah.
pretty sad.
It's
But
pretty
along those lines, there was a story I heard, and maybe it was completely fiction, but it
Yeah.
was on it was one of those radio programs where they were admitting to something that they lied about.
Mm-hmm.
And this person shows up to work with an English accent, like they're from Australia or something,
Okay.
or Australian accent. Anyway, they have an accent.
Yeah.
So they're keeping this up. Well, they called into the show to admit that they don't actually have an accent.
Why? What is the point? Like, to your point, how do you keep up with the lies and like the facade? You can't.
Yeah. And so I want to say they called up the person that admitted it, and they were cool about it. So again, I don't know if this was real or not, but regardless, it was kind of funny. It's just like, really? Like, how do people fake it? I can't fake it. Like, and I'm on, live every week.
Right.
If I was faking it, man, I'd be stressed out. Like,
you would not be on episode 57 if you were faking it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I hope you guys like what you got here, because this is it.
We love it. People are on a wait list for your show. Are you kidding me?
This is who you got right here, guys.
we love it. You being authentically you.
Appreciate it. All right. So anything else you want to add to the recruiting topic?
I would just say that I'm always going to be plugging the mentor group just because it's so helpful for anybody. There are some.
You recruited through it, so
I did. There is an insane amount of talent in this mentor group. The 200 plus people that we have, they're all on this call, by the way. Most of them. I have to give a special plug really quick since Lori's on this call. Lori Agudo is probably like she recruits so many people into my mentor group so naturally because she's a leader, but also like if I wasn't doing something right, clearly no one would be in this group. But I do want to say that if you are open to work right now, if something happened and you're currently looking for a new role, your position got eliminated, or you're quietly trying to make a transition to something else, join the group. Like some people have messaged me and they're like, oh, I didn't join because I don't have a job. How else do you think you can quickly find a job? By putting yourself in this group. And by the way, I will advocate for you. I'll advocate for everybody in this group. That's what it's about. Absolutely. It's not about Tara. It's about everyone in this group. So please don't think that having a job or not having a job is some sort of a barrier, because to your point in the beginning, like everyone is welcome.
Yep. 100%.
Use this as a networking opportunity to find your next position.
Yeah. And if I must say, and if I could say, like, Tara, you hit on, like, and I've spoken on this before, but like the whole idea of being an imposter or imposter syndrome, people getting in their own head and in their own way, like they aren't qualified, they haven't gone up the ranks enough to do certain things, or they can't do that job, or they can't talk to that person. And I'll tell you, yes, you can. And you also won't go anywhere unless you do. So if you want to make something of your career in this industry or any industry, you've got to be willing to be uncomfortable. Like, I'm a person who is the ambivert, leans a little more on the introvert side. You lean more to the extrovert side. But I've had to be okay being very uncomfortable in a lot of different situations in order to talk to somebody. Or I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've like just messaged like CEOs or executives on LinkedIn, and they respond and we have a conversation, and that's led to something. So if you don't think you can do that, you can do it. Have a question. Don't just use a person. Like, ask them something, be inquisitive, be somebody that's actually like trying to learn or whatever it is. And it's totally
I love
possible.
that. Be a resource. Like, a lot of people are like, well, I don't really know anything. Yes, you do. You know something. Everyone knows something, and can offer to connect somebody to someone. You don't have to have 500 or 5,000 LinkedIn followers. Like, we're all trying to get to Adrian Danila's level of 25 million followers. And I love Adrian. He's a great friend. I will never catch him, nor am I trying, but he is someone who has built his connection by just saying, how can I help you?
Right.
And that's all you have to do. So to your point, Evan, if you're reaching out, just ask that person, how can I help you?
Yeah. Or, you know, if you're in a lower position than them, like, just ask them how they got there, or what they like about what they've done in their career so far, or whatever. Just like don't just ask them for something like a job or whatever. Like show that you want to like develop yourself, or show that
100%.
Yeah. Because people love to help other people.
They do.
Because it makes them feel good that they're contributing something that they've done to another person. I will just say that.
The best way, in my opinion, when you're feeling down in the dumps, the best way to pull out of that is to go serve somebody else. Whatever that means to you, go help somebody else. If you're having a bad day, if life just sucks for that moment, go help another person, and it will, I promise you, it's the best medicine.
Yeah, totally.
Plain and simple.
Yes, indeed.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Not yet.
Oh, sorry. I know we still have more to talk about. Can you believe it?
We got one more thing that you just kind of like a little passion project, pushing yourself even more out of your comfort zone. It was Project 66. Yes. Some of you may have seen her do this. It was a year ago, maybe?
Almost 2 years ago. In November, it will be 2 years. 2 years. Is that insane?
Okay. So Project 66, if I may summarize, was when you decided, I'm going to make posts every day for 66 days and be very authentic and transparent about whether it's how I'm feeling about myself, self-image, you know, your self-esteem, whatever it was. And you did it for 66 days straight. But so what was that like? What'd you get out of it? It's kind of a thing that could be pretty awkward, honestly.
You're telling me. I'll tell you 2 reasons why it started. So vulnerability for me is something that I have to continuously work on. When my husband and I have arguments, yes, we do fight. Yes, we're a married couple. We have arguments. Vulnerability tends to be the thing that I struggle with. And so one day I said, and there was no reason to pick the day that I picked, which was, I'm cheating here, November 7th, 2021. It was a mix of my husband telling me that I should work on vulnerability, my therapist telling me I should work on vulnerability. And I was like, okay, I'm catching a theme here. And then it was James Clear, Atomic Habits, who he summarized. By the way, almost half of the people in our mentor group, when I asked their favorite book, Atomic Habits is their favorite book. James Clear, phenomenal person to follow on LinkedIn, great book. He says that it takes basically 66 days to form a habit. There's all this research about it's 21 days, it's 30 days, it's kind of this broad spectrum. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do a project on how to fix my self-talk, because frankly, it was terrible, and sometimes it still is. Yeah. And I will put myself out there on LinkedIn. The goal was to be authentically real about how I was feeling in that moment, that day, but to also, in the same post on LinkedIn, to flip the script on how can I reframe this to be something positive. And then I would take a word and kind of summarize the whole post in one word. And so my very first post was natural. And it was the one that had the most engagement because it was me sitting on a chair. And every post, I think almost every post had a picture of some kind. And it was me sitting on a chair with my fat roll that I was super self-conscious about in my stomach, and how I also didn't have my nails polished. And there was something else, and I just tore myself to shreds mentally about how I was feeling, even though people are like, oh my God, Tara, I love that picture of you. I'm like, yeah, well, you're my friend, so you're not going to tell me, hey, you look like a fat roly-poly today. Like, so each post was me talking about something authentically and vulnerably putting myself out there that, hey, I'm human. And yes, when I walk, sometimes I'm wondering, are you seeing my cellulite in my butt? Yeah, it's something girls think about. Like, oh, do I have a zit on my face today? Yeah, I do. Are you staring at it? Probably. Like, we're just talking about natural things. Oh, I'm not good enough to be a leader. Oh, I'm not good enough to be this. It could be anything. Or maybe I feel like a really crappy mom today. I could have done better and stepped up as a parent. Maybe I was not a good spouse today. Yeah. And for 66 days, Evan, I just threw it out there. And it was so funny because there was a couple of days, and my husband was my biggest cheerleader. He was like, you can do this. There was a couple of Sundays, and I was like, I don't want to post. And he's like, you can't not post now. Like, you're on a streak. And I'm like, this sucks. And he's like, so let me get this straight. You're already like talking crap about this thing that you're trying to reframe about talking crap. Like, come on now. Like, let's get this done. So what I'm trying to do, you asked me what I get out of it. I became more vulnerable. I became hopefully more relatable to people, because some days I'm not good. And some days I just want people to know, like, just because I seem positive on LinkedIn or Facebook doesn't mean I'm not having a crappy day internally with my brain that's fighting it out. And ever since I met Kendra Butterfield, she has joined this group and has really pushed all of us to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And guess what? Oh my God, Tara has a therapist. What?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's okay. And so I'm actually going to start it up again. And I started watching my self-talk go back down the tubes because I wasn't pushing myself. So I'm calling it Project 66 because I do believe James Clear that it does take 66 days. And you know what? By the end of it, I wanted to throw a party. And then the people who messaged me throughout the process, couldn't thank them enough for cheering me on. And I didn't realize how many people were watching me do this.
Yeah.
So that's Project 66, and I'm going to take it on the road. And if anyone's looking for a speaker at their association, this is something I'm super passionate about because anyone can benefit from better self-talk.
Yeah. No, and thanks for kind of giving that as an example, like, to people, and doing that, like putting yourself out there and all that, because, you know, I'm somebody that I think a lot of times we assume it's mostly women that have that, and guys are just, oh yeah, guys are just confident. Wrong.
Wrong.
I, starting this show, oh my gosh, I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want anybody to see it. Yeah. I didn't want to admit that I was a show host. I was really embarrassed because I thought I was going to do a terrible job. And so I don't know why I started it.
Oh, shoot. Oh my God. I just lost my thing. Wait, where did you go? Are you back? Did I literally just lose you?
Yeah. You lost it and lost everything.
Wait, hold on. Where are you? Okay, there. Back.
Okay.
Am I back?
You're kind of low.
Okay,
there
wait, there we go.
All right.
That's vulnerability. See, just things happen.
She's just flipping tables, people.
Flipping tables. Well, I'm trying to prop up my computer. There we go. All right. Gotcha. You made me laugh so hard I knocked the computer over.
Yeah. So yeah, I just full vulnerability. Like, I didn't want to talk about it with anybody, not even my wife, to be honest. I was like, I don't want anybody to talk to me about this. I didn't want to. I was so like in my head about it, and I was like, oh man, it just because it was something so out of my comfort zone and so like different than anything I'd ever done before that I was just like, I feel like a sham. I'm getting on social media all of a sudden when I was never a person that did that, and I was like, why am I doing this?
Well, we're so glad you started it but you know what, you brought up a good point. It reminded me, one of my posts, there was a gentleman who mentioned, and I don't recall who it was, but he said, I'm so glad that you did this because most people think that guys don't have this issue with negative self-talk. That's so not true.
Right.
So you're right. And now you admitting this could inspire somebody.
Oh yeah. I was really
it's powerful though.
Yeah. And I will say this, because I've done this, I have become way more confident.
That's awesome.
So I don't care. I'll be on camera. I don't care anymore. Like, let's do it. Like,
let's do it.
But you know, it used to be like, no thanks. I don't want any part of that. So
I'm so glad that you've done this and you continue to push, because you could admit this is a safe space, but aren't there days where you're kind of like, I don't want to do it?
I mean, leading up to it, maybe a little bit, but honestly, I love it so much in talking to people. And because of the way I've formatted it is the reason why I can continue, because I love not only elevating others. So this is a thing I need to work on, is like, I try to like downplay myself a lot. And I don't try to embrace like, oh, that I'm either doing well or even like try to like use it for my own benefit. Like, I just kind of am like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. But back to Tara. So, you know, at some point I'll improve upon that. But it has given me more self confidence and given me an ability to see that there is something I have to offer other people. So it's been good. So,
and there's a wait list for your show, so that tells you that you're doing something right, and we all love what you're doing.
That's just because I bribe people. That's didn't you get the check? You didn't get the check?
I went and already bought Starbucks and all the things with it. Are you kidding me? That actually, you're funding the red wine that I'm going to give you when you get to town.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's my boss bucks.
I pre-bought it.
Ooh, boss bucks. Wouldn't that be good if you start giving out like Monopoly money that's like boss bucks with your face?
Dude, we already have it? Do.
Oh, shit. What? Oh, shoot. Sorry. I went this whole thing without cussing until right there. Sorry.
No, but legit, we have boss bucks. We use a little plug, a little friend of mine, Jerry. He works for Tango. Tango is something that anybody can use. It's a free resource. Gift cards, but you can brand it. And we've branded our giveaways and our thank yous and all that as boss bucks.
Why did I not know that? I knew about the necklace and the whole thing, but I did not know about here. I thought I came up with something creative, but I'm writing it down. Tango. Got it.
Yep. Hook up with Jerry. Him and I are connected on LinkedIn. If you're interested, I will definitely connect you with him. Hopefully checks in the mail to me, Jerry.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But isn't that what this is? So it's all about networking, uplifting others.
No, it's about the money. It's about the money.
I mean, you're like, at least you're honest. At least you're honest.
I mean, if it's about the money, then I haven't done a very good job with. That's a whole nother topic for another day. Like my career, I've taken some big steps in my career to do big things for very little money. So
you know what? There's payment and dividends that is not related to the monetary thing, which is, I think, sums up this entire show, is how we're fulfilled by giving back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I have a great job. I don't want to downplay where I'm at now, but in the past I've definitely taken oh man. Anyways, my wife will agree with that.
Yeah.
So but
I love
is
how
there any
real you are.
I appreciate that. So Project 66, thank you for doing it. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing about it. Thank you for inspiring other people like myself, because it is just an important thing to get through that evil that is self-talk
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, right? Like the negative
Yep.
self-talk, it can prevent you from doing some things that could be really big and impactful of other people, um, and be good for yourself. Like, and honestly, just like I need to get over this. Like, it's okay to enjoy things. It's okay to embrace things that are good that involve you,
Mm-hmm.
um, and you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that. And I guess I'm always like, oh, I don't want to be seen as the person seeking the spotlight. But it's like, all right, well, sometimes it just happens, and it's
Right.
okay to embrace it.
Yep.
Um,
And you
so
deserve
anyway,
it.
I guess. Just kidding. No, I appreciate it. I'm trying. Trying to do a better job of embracing it. And at NAA, it was kind of weird. It's like people know who I am, and it's like that was different from a year prior. Whereas like I just showed up and it was my first NAA, and nobody knew me, so
But no,
it's
and
different.
now people are chasing you around and like, Evan, boss, I
Yeah,
want to be on Boss Talks.
yeah. So different.
Now you have a legacy.
Yeah. No, it's good. So. Well, Tara, it's been so good having you. I
Good.
appreciate all that you do for this industry and
Thank
all that
you.
you've done for people like myself. And I've never sent you money, or I did send you a thank you card
You did.
with a sticker in it, I
You
think.
did. Yep. And I did get my amazing Manage Like a Boss cool tumbler from the
Yeah,
breakfast. That was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Was just using it on the plane the other day.
Nice, love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I just appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do that gives back and
Thank you.
allows others to elevate themselves, to elevate all the bosses, like I like to say, in the
Mm-hmm.
multifamily industry, and giving more people an opportunity to improve and develop and learn from other people. So you're doing all those things through your various ways and forms and busyness that you have going on all over the place. Um, but I want to say on behalf of everybody that's watching and those that are a part of the Mentor Matchmaker that we just so appreciate you, and you are a boss,
Oh, thank
and
you.
I just want you to know that.
Thanks for having me on the show. And I just want to thank everyone who's supported me in every capacity, especially those in the chat right now who are watching, who are part of the mentor group. Like, this is why I do it. My nights and weekends are filled with just giving back because of these people. So thank you. And you're one of them. So you're not allowed. This, I forgot to say, once you join the group, you can't leave it. Like, you're in. We're going to keep you.
That's right.
So it's a community, though. So welcome
Yep.
to the community. You're locked in.
Yep. And you're locked into being a boss too. So just so you know, once you're a boss, you're
Yay!
also always a boss. So there's
Woo-hoo.
that.
I can't wait for the T-shirt.
Yep. Oh man, I wish I had t-shirts to give away. I don't have t-shirts.
Okay,
I
well,
do
can
have.
I be
I
the
know
first one?
everybody wants the one that's like the blingy, sparkly gold one,
I don't want
and
that one.
I only have like 5 of them. So
No, I don't want it. I want like an extra soft Pima cotton V-neck. I know I'm very
it's very
specific here.
specific.
So once you get that made, I don't want the
Okay.
scratchy one, and I don't like I don't want it like up in my neck. So
Okay. All right. Pima cotton.
whatever the heck that means, I just
I
think
don't
it means
even know what
soft.
that is.
Maybe Jerry, your tango guy, can find you a Pima cotton V-neck shirt for this
Maybe you can.
particular specific ask. I'm just saying, I'll wear it proudly.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll work on that. Well, just like she jumped on Boss Talks, you too can jump on Boss Talks. Whether you're in the Mentor Matchmaker group or not, you should be. So let's join. Next step after you join that call me up, whether it's a pigeon or an email. I don't care how you get a hold of me. Just get a hold of me and let's get on the show, because I want to elevate all the bosses in the multifamily industry. And actually, I'm starting to add people on the condo and HOA world too. So nice. Let's open them up. Let's bring them. Let's embrace them.
I have a few connections for you.
Perfect. I want to know them. So let's get them on. I have a couple people that are lined up for later in the year. As was discussed, I have a backlog through January. I think the end of January of 2024 now.
Ready?
So get on the list, people.
It's well worth the wait. I think we lock this in February or something.
And one thing that I want to say again, I said it last week, and I was like tiptoeing into it. Like, if you're a person that's been on a lot of podcasts, I'm not trying to like not let you on, but what I do want to do is like, maybe we need to start bringing somebody that you personally want to elevate onto the show as well, so that we can like use your notoriety or whatever to elevate somebody that's should be known but isn't known. Or I would love to do that. I would love to not just, have the, because there's a lot of people that have been on a lot of shows, and but they could be coming on the show with somebody, and let's raise all ships, right? So
I may or may not have a resource of folks you can pick from. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So anywho, that's kind of my 2 cents on that. But I want to meet you, I want to know your story, and I want others to as well. So let's talk. And until next week, Wednesday, 12 Pacific Standard Time, 3 Eastern. This has been Boss Talks, episode, what are we at? 57?
57.
57. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for everybody that was in the audience. Thanks for the kudos to our wonderful guest, and to myself too. I will embrace it. I thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.